Hi everyone. In this session, we will discuss about file sharing. Okay, in this session, we will discuss about file sharing. So here, while we share the file, the problem occurs when we are going to share the file between two or more users. That is between multi-users. If there are multi-users who are sharing the common file, there occurs the problems. So here, the issues may arise in two cases. One is regarding providing the access right. Okay, for a file now we will provide the accessing right. Okay, means we will perform the permission. Okay, let us suppose if this is the file. Okay, if this is the file, we will perform. The owner of the file will give read permission or read and write permission, like that. Okay, sometimes if a file is given only read permission, so whoever is going to access that file, they can only read that. Okay, and second one is if managing simultaneous access. Suppose if you are giving access for two or more people. Okay, if two or more users are accessing this, let us suppose this is user 1. Let us suppose this is user 2, user 3, user 4. Let us suppose if two or more users are accessing the same file simultaneously. Suppose if user 1 is performing read operation and whereas user 2 is performing write operation, user 3 is also performing write operation. So what happens is user 1 will read the information. Whatever the information the file contains, that information will be read by the user 1. Where user 2 will perform write operation. What do you mean by write operation? We have already discussed that write operation is nothing but updating or modifying the existing data. Okay. So after performing this write operation, the file contents or the data present in that file will be different from the data which was read by user 1. So the mismatch takes place. Okay, the error may takes place. Okay, that's what we have to manage the simultaneous access. So that is one issue. Okay, so these are the two issues that arises when the file is shared between multi-users. Okay, so we'll see. So in multi-users, so here we'll have the owner and group. So who is the owner? Owner is nothing but the person who has a right to decide. The person who has a right to decide whether to give permission for accessing the file or we have to deny the access. Means rejecting the access. Okay. So he will decide whether to give permission to access or deny the access. Okay. He is the owner because he is the owner of the file. So since he is the owner of the file, so he will allow the access, he will give permission for accessing or he may deny the access. Next one is group. Group is nothing but the persons who sends a request. The persons who sends a request for accessing this file. Okay. So the group is nothing but they are the set of people who keeps a request to the owner to give permission to access this file. Okay, they are the group. And second one is, so in file sharing we have discussed the multi-user. Second one is a remote file system. So what is remote file system? Remote file system is nothing but, so communicating between the systems which are in remote location. Suppose this is system 1, this is system 2 and this is system 3. So remote file system is nothing but communication between the systems which are in remote locations. Let us suppose this system is in Hyderabad and this system is in Bangalore. Okay, and this system is in Chennai. Okay, if you are able to perform communication between these systems, then we say that, okay, then we say that this is a remote file system. So see here, the communication is done between the systems which are located far away, means in some other locations. Okay, the communication can takes place between the systems which are in India and which are in UK or US, right? So what is communication? Communication is nothing but sending and receiving files. Okay. So here what the author is telling is, this communication, this remote communication, this remote file system needs communication. This communication is taking place with two methods. One is client server method and the other is distribution information system model. Okay, the communication can take place with the two models. They are nothing but client server model and the other is distribution information system model. We will see this. So the first one is client server architecture. So this is client server architecture. So here what happens is, all these are clients. Let us suppose this is one client, client 2. Let us suppose this is client 1, client 2, client 3, client 4. Let us suppose this is the server. So initially every client will have an individual ID. Every client will have an individual ID. So all these IDs, identification number or unique ID. So every client will have an ID and all these IDs will be stored here. Okay, all these IDs, all the IDs which the individual clients are having. So all the IDs what the individual clients are having, these IDs were stored in the server. So the server will have all the IDs. So if any client wants to access any data or any file from the server, so what it will do is, the client will keep a request. The client will keep a request to the server to give permission for accessing that particular file. Now what the server will do is, the server will check the ID. The ID of this client, the ID from where this request has come. The server will check the ID from where the request has come, and it will try to map or it will try to match whether this ID is available in the list of IDs it has or not. If it matches, then it gives permission. If it don't match, then it will not give permission, it will deny the access. Okay, so this is what happens in the client server architecture. Okay, so here there is one drawback. The drawback is, this ID, there is a chance that this ID, whatever the IDs the clients are having, there is a chance that these IDs may be hacked and some unknown person may send his request to access the data or the files present in the server. They may send a request by using these ID, because these IDs may be hacked. So that is the main disadvantage or drawback here. So in order to overcome that drawback, we are using the distribution information system model. See, the disadvantage in client server model, we have discussed the disadvantage. In order to overcome that, we have used this distribution information system model. Okay, so here again this distribution information system can also be called as distribute naming service, DNS, distribute naming service, and again it has two models. They are nothing but network information service, NIS, as well as common internet file system. Okay, common internet file system, CIFS. We will discuss this. So what is network information service? So here what we are doing is, so it also follows a client server application. Here no, the user ID and password, or username and password will be there. So every client will be given a username and a password. So by using those username and password, the client has to log in and has to establish the connection with the server. Okay, if those username and passwords are valid, then only the client can establish a connection with the server. Okay, and then only the files will be shared. Okay, so those can be viewed or updated or utilized. Okay, so this is what happens in network information service. Okay, coming to the second one, common internet file system. Here also it consists of the username and password. So here also the username and password. If we found that the username and password are valid, then only the client will interact with the server. So the client keeps a request to the server, so indicating that it needs it needs some access permission. Okay, so thereby the connection will be established and the required information or data will be retrieved. This is what happens in common internet file system. Okay, so coming to the third one, it is a failure mode. Okay, the third one is a failure mode. So here, suppose if the server is crashed, when the clients, so actually we have discussed, so we have server and beside that we have number of clients. All these are clients. Okay, so if the server is crashed when the clients are sharing the files, then what we have to do is, so we should terminate all the file operations. All the file operations should be terminated, or else we have to wait till the server works again. Okay, we have only two options. So when the server is crashed, when the file operations were being done, okay, so in that situation what we have to do is, we have to cancel or we have to terminate all the file operations. That is one thing, or else we have to wait till the server works again. Okay, and coming to the second one is fast server, slow client. If this happens, if the server is fast whereas the clients are slow, then there is a chance that some information or some data may be lost. Why? Because the server keeps on sending the information to the clients, whereas the clients are unable to receive the data what the server sends. In that situation, what happens is there is a chance that some information may be lost. Okay. So next comes recovery. Okay. So recovery is nothing but so the recovery can be done by using some client and server. If client and server maintain their activities, okay, then they can recover the failure. If client and server maintain the current activities and open the files, and there is a chance that we can recover the data what we have lost. Okay, so this is something about file sharing concept. Okay, thank you.